Today we're going to be looking at the Boss LM2 limiter. A limiter and a compressor are literally the same thing, they're just applied differently. A compressor reaches a little farther down into the body of the note, into the envelope, and a limiter knocks the peaks off to kind of level it a little bit more. The LM2 is very quiet, much quieter than most compressors. It also has a tone control, so you can make up some of the top end that you lose when you compress or limit. We're going to be playing this with Les Paul Standard through a 77 Marshall 50 watt going into the low gain input so it doesn't change the sound too much. I'm also going to play a little bit through the high gain input with some overdrive with this, using the amp for overdrive. We're going to be playing the amp through a 15-inch Electro Voice mic'd with a Shure SM7 set to flat, using a Purple Audio mic pre. When the guitar is playing, the microphone in the video camera will be turned off so that you don't hear both at the same time. You just hear what's coming out of the speaker. Here we go. Okay, there are 4 knobs on the limiter. There is an output level, which gives you how much volume it has. There's a tone control, so you can make up treble or cut treble. There is a threshold control, which is maximum and minimum. At the maximum, it only clips off the very peaks of the notes. At minimum, it gets pretty far down and you don't get any peaks at all. It really levels it. We're going to start with it at maximum, doing the least. We have a release control right here, which is how quickly it releases the note once it starts to compress. At minimum, it's the fastest. At maximum, it is the slowest, and it wants to hold on to the note. So we're going to start with it doing the least. Here is our guitar sound. Now I'm turning it on. Now the way I generally set up a compressor, I want to start at unity, so I'm going to start bumping a note with the compressor off, and then I'm going to turn the compressor on and I'm going to match the bump note or the initial peak so that those are the same. Now we've got a little bit of tone change, but I'm going to say those are about the same volume. So you can see we're picking up a little bit of sustain with the same initial volume of the note. So we're fattening up just a little bit. Now to sustain it, now we're going to pull the threshold down just a little bit and put the release up just a little bit, so we're hitting the note a little bit harder. We're going to need a little more makeup gain, so we're going to do that same operation. Okay, now I'm going to turn the threshold all the way to the minimum where it's really grabbing into the note, so you can see exactly what that does. Okay, now I'm going to run over and put the input into the high gain on the amp and turn it down a little bit so that you can hear what this does to the signal during some overdrive. Okay, here is the sound of the amplifier by itself. Okay, we're going to turn it on where we had it. So you can see you can get a lot of sustain. That's a little bit much for me, so I'm going to pull some of these back down a little bit where it's not doing quite so much. So you can hear it fattens things up, gives it a little bit more sustain, a little more bloom. That's about it. And again, it's a very, very quiet piece. Just thought you ought to know about it. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.